How long does it take to become a construction estimator? I've covered these topics before, but this time I'm going to go into some things that I didn't cover before and some things that haven't been covered in a while that I think are pretty remarkable. And these bullet points, I was actually really impressed. I was like, wow, this is some good stuff. So if you want to look at some of the fringe concepts about this topic, then stay with me on this video. I know you're going to enjoy it. So let's go ahead and cover these one by one. I'm super excited. Yes, I've covered the base information on a video before. Like I said, these are really interesting fringe, meaning not regularly talked about, not focused on topics. First of all, when we talk about becoming an estimator, there are really three different ways that you can do this. One is called field to desk, meaning like you can come from the field and say, hey, I want an opportunity in estimating and really get that opportunity straight from the field. I've seen multiple people do it and it really actually benefited their career quite a bit. Don't get stuck, make sure you know where you want to be, but definitely that is a path. Another one is obviously academic entry, meaning you go to school for it, you have a degree in construction management with a focus on estimating, and you get hired based on your education. We all know about that path. The other one is administrative entry, meaning like maybe you were a project administrator, maybe you worked in the corporate office or somewhere else, and you're like, hey, I'm going to raise my hand, I want that opportunity. Those three different ways of getting in are pretty neat, and I want to make sure that we don't forget those. The other thing that I want to say is once you're in, there is a learning curve, and I want to say that if you really get good experience and don't skim over the basics, if you really dig into the numbers, and here's the key, I hope you're paying attention to this, really integrate with a project team and you get good experience with good repetition. I'm just going to give you an example. What one person could do in 3 years, you can condense into 18 months by really being disciplined step by step and really taking that disciplined approach to the end results with a project team in the field. And so what I want to say there is that in estimating especially, depending on what size projects you're estimating, you can really accelerate your growth and your excellence based on your discipline and how involved you are with a project team. In year one, you're probably learning pricing logic, scope building, vendor relationships, things like that. Years 2 to 3, you're learning about full bid package preparation, negotiations, alignment with operations, and how we actually do a proper handoff. The key for me would be, if I was in your position, is to get as much experience with all of that as I possibly can, and then go through and do the reps in an excellent way. One of the things that you can really do to accelerate your career path too, that I haven't talked about before, which is really key, is co-locating. If you're close to the project manager and the project superintendent, you will learn more from them. Well, I don't have a problem being behind this, but you can learn more from them being co-located, even if it's a short period of time, just to get through an estimate or to do bid leveling or even to help write contracts. Getting with the project team can be a huge accelerator. The other one is estimating the right type of projects. Estimating IPD or design build or CM at risk versus design bid build, right? If you're doing something where you don't have real-time feedback, right? Like CM at risk, let's say that you're selected based on qualifications and now the estimating process is going to be to reach a GMP and then you see the real-time results. Like, you're going to get a lot more education there than if you're always doing this design bid build, submit an estimate, lost, submit an estimate, lost, and you're not getting feedback, and then you won one and you're like, don't know why, right? So estimating the right type of projects is a huge accelerator for your career. The other one is, and I know estimators don't like to hear this, but involvement in bid package preparation, bid leveling, which is common, but then the buyout process and pre-construction meetings. Oh my gosh, you're going to learn so much there, and then you'll actually get that feedback loop, that information, and take it all the way to the proper handoff. I really think that's the way we should be doing it when we can. And that brings me to my next point, that there's a big difference between estimators who have never built and those who have. I would highly recommend being involved with the project team and taking it to the buyout process at a minimum. But if you can get experience as a field engineer in the field a little bit or visit the field, please do so. That is a huge career benefit. The other thing that you can do to really help yourself out is to really start relying on software. Really get good at it, right? Obviously, programs like on-screen takeoff and having a great estimating software, great references, database for your reference class, and really great communication systems will really help save you quite a bit of time. That way you can do your training, you can stay on top of things, you can grind, and you can have more reps, but you also have more time to think, grow, and improve and take care of your career. The other thing that people don't understand is that you're not just becoming an estimator, right? Like I remember when I was at Hensel Phelps, chief estimators were just as highly looked up to, I guess is what you would say, as operations managers or, general superintendents. But don't forget that if you have an estimating background and you then go into operations, you become a superintendent or a PM, or you're going to become director of operations or a VP, that is a huge thing. Like having that background is absolutely crucial, because now you have the estimating, you have the budget side of it, you have the finances, you have the business savvy, you understand pro forma, you understand what it takes to run the business. It's a pretty big deal. So it can be a leadership track for you as well. And probably the last thing that I want to say, I don't think we've covered this in a while for this topic, but let me cover it now. There are some myths with this. You don't need a degree to be an estimator. You just need to grind, but you might need a degree to get in, but I already gave you a couple of options for that. But it is a myth to think that you have to have an education. You can learn this stuff on the job, especially if you come from a different background. The other myth is that this role is just behind the desk, right? Well, you'll get the paper cut jokes, right? That's not true. You can work pretty well collaboratively with teams. Sorry, I said that wrong. Collaboratively with teams, with designers, with owners. You're out in the field. When I say field in this regard, I mean like you will actually be out doing interviews in trade partners' offices with vendors, right, with the owner, meeting with design teams. So that's what I mean by field. And you can actually be out in the field on the construction projects if you're participating with the buyout and the handoffs and visiting the projects. So it's not just a desk job. It can be very dynamic and very rewarding. The other misconception is to think that it's a quick skill. I don't think so. I think it takes just as much time to learn how to be a really good estimator as it would learn to be a really good superintendent. The other thing is that some people think that it's not stressful. It's stressful. When you have a bid to turn in, it's stressful. When you're not getting those bids back in time, it's stressful. When you're doing bid leveling, it's stressful. When you've got a heavy load, it's stressful. When you have multiple I could just keep going on and on. So those are some misconceptions that I did want to address. Bottom line is, I freaking love estimators, especially if they know how to do control estimates and they're good at self-perform. And we really need more and more really competent people, and we need their roles to be fun, interesting, rewarding, and dynamic. And we need to understand what it takes to become them. And I hope you found this video helpful. I'm going to turn this into a little blog post and invite you to reach out if you ever want to talk or if I can help in any way. We do this all the time, and we'll share the templates that we use at Leanbelt from our construction company. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and just so you know, we love you at Elevate Construction. Like, this is all about you. I always imagine you on the other side of the camera, and you matter to us, and I hope you feel that. Hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.